Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
First game against Eaton, it's going to be really, really good game. So it's a talented team, and again, we're just going to have to match their energy and defend and do those little things that, make a championship team.
You want a wrinkle or two in, but really what's going to make the difference in the game is, do we block better or do they block better? Do they tackle better or do we tackle better?
To take out Patrick Mahomes, who is undefeated. Even Lamar Jackson couldn't beat him this year. You beat Mahomes this weekend. The narrative coming off this, you can see it Monday morning all over Get Up, in The First Take and beyond. Are the Bills the team to beat in the AFC? Is Josh Allen your MVP frontrunner? And the answer is going to be yes.
It actually was a little bit more emotional than I thought it was going to be, to see him and stuff. And but then it sucked watching him play. So, and that was the truth there. But I'm happy for him. He gets to play at home. His family gets to see him play. And
stay in the locker room with the guys during, when they're still playing and stuff. Just be active, communicating through time and time again. Because they had a rough start, going through adversity. A lot of people were getting injured, and you just got to keep motivating them to.
I've noticed number 30 is a pretty good back for him, and I've noticed watching film that they're pretty successful with their sweep.
They're well coached, so they do a lot of things very well. Their quarterback's a great runner, good passer with the Rankin kid. Garrison, number 9, is a good, strong runner. Man, he's going to be a tank over the years.
To be able to get a divisional game at your place against an up-and-coming Washington Commanders team, big win for the Philadelphia Eagles. And
I love sports because they inspire and they make you believe in something bigger than yourself. So I'll always be a fan of all sports.
And the thing that they have going for them is they're physical, and they were ready for prime time to play Big 12-style football. This is not a soft team from the West Coast. They're exactly the opposite. The hardest guy to tackle in the Big 12 is Cam Skattebo.
Good afternoon and welcome into Sports Day. As joining me now is Mike Corson. I am Mike Hesher as we bring you Friday edition of Sports Day. Coming up on the show today, we're going to have Sunflower Sports Solutions' Connor Nickel. He'll talk to Steve Webster. They will preview the Hoisington Southeast of Saline game, as well as the Central Plains Little River game, as well as Cunningham and Otis Bison. Also coming in, you heard a little bit from Jeremy Combs to start off the sounds of the past 24 hours. We'll talk to Jeremy Combs in live. And then Mike Corson will go and talk to former Great Bend standout and Newman University Hall of Famer Ruby Spray. That's all coming up on the show today. But let's get started with your sounds of the past 24 hours. First, you did hear from Jeremy Combs as the Barton Cougars will be in action tonight. They are taking on, taking on Northern Oklahoma Enid. That game will be tonight at the Kirkman Center. And Jeremy Combs talking about they just have to play championship basketball. They got to do the little things to play championship basketball. Mike Corson?
Yeah, I got to see them the other night. Looking at their roster, you're like, wow, he's got to do this with mostly a freshman roster, but got a Division I point guard, some kids who can shoot the ball, some height. So, yeah, it's going to be Barton basketball again.
And Barton women play tonight. They play at 5:30. They get the Classic started at 5:30. They will take on Redlands, followed by the men, and they will take on, as we mentioned, Northern Oklahoma Enid. Then we heard from Zach Baird as the Hoisington Cardinals get set to play Southeast of Saline tonight. And basically, Zach breaks it down saying, blocking and tackling will decide tonight's football game.
And scoring.
Well, that does help, yes.
No, Southeast, Norton was number 1 for a little while, but probably Southeast was the legitimate number 1 team all season. Hoisington played that tough schedule, had the tough start, but they're rolling as well as anybody. This one's kind of intriguing just because Hoisington's rarely an underdog, and it's just hard to think of them not going in there and doing something.
Then you heard from Joe Fortenbaugh from ESPN, and he said the most obvious thing I think I've ever really heard. If the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen beat the Chiefs on Sunday, you know what the talk is going to be on Monday morning. The Chiefs or the Bills are the best, and Josh Allen will be MVP.
I'm not so sure they shouldn't say that anyway, but
I would not argue that. But
yeah, it's a reactive media, especially in that league, and so you get your Monday morning quarterbackers in their chairs, and yeah, it's going to be the big thing. My thing would be with Harrison Butker going down. I would have expected a close game anyway, and now maybe you're taking away some kicking ability to go if you need a long field goal. So it was already favored towards Buffalo. I think it's going to skew a little bit heavier.
I don't think it'll be that close. I think Buffalo will take care of the Chiefs on Sunday.
I would say that, except Kansas City always finds a way.
That is the only thing,
Yes,
they do
on
find a way to win.
Paper, Buffalo looks dominant.
They have that championship swagger to the Chiefs, and for whatever reason, they pull it out in the end.
Yes.
Okay, after Fortenbaugh, we heard from Jerome Tang as the Kansas State Wildcats were able to lose. They lost last night. They scored to Arizona State. No, that was
USC, I believe.
Yeah, it was 76-65. It was not USC. It was LSU.
I knew it was three letters.
They lost to LSU 76-65. But the big thing for Jerome Tang was former Wildcat Cam Carter had 20 points to lead the Tigers in scoring, and Jerome Tang had some mixed emotions on the night because he liked, obviously, Cam, but he's happy that he was able to go home to LSU and play in front of his family and friends.
Yeah, you'd think he would tell his guys in the locker room, I don't care if we get beat tonight, which they would never say, but don't let Cam Carter beat us, and he scores 20.
And then K-State is now 2-1. They will host Mississippi Valley State after that. And then we move into some high school football. We heard from Jason Robinson from the Hoisington Cardinals. He was one of the injured players early on, and he basically says he was in the locker room, he was with his team throughout, and just trying to help them push through it.
Yeah, and I mentioned yesterday Southeast is going to be a team that throws the ball a little bit more, so I'm hoping we see some crazy numbers from J-Rob tonight.
And then Kyler Russell talked about how he kind of scouted the team, Southeast of Saline. They have a very good running back, but they also have a very successful sweep.
And I will say Southeast is one of those teams I've adopted. Great track program, great cross country, great. They've had volleyball, basketball, boys and girls. So it's getting to talk with Coach Gebhardt probably the last 3 years. They kind of grow on you, but yeah, he knows what he's doing. They grow those kids every year, it seems like.
Then we talked to J.D. Johnson from Central Plains, and they take on Little River tonight. And J.D. was talking about the sectional tonight as Central Plains won the first one 68-44, but they don't expect that tonight.
Yeah, I think this one's truly a toss-up, and I've mentioned way back in the season, back when Paul Dold was coaching Coach Steiner, those were the hardest-hitting eight-man games I had seen was Central Plains versus Little River, so kind of hope that little rivalry is still going.
I do believe I missed one in there, but we did hear from Lindsey Vaughn. The 40-year-old Lindsey Vaughn is coming out of retirement. She has not skied for 6 years, but she's going to join the U.S. ski team coming up here 6 years. And she's just talking about how she loves sports, and she's going to get back onto the sleds, the skis.
She's going to try to get the U.S. team. She's got to get through our girl, Michaela Schifrin, our Colorado girl.
Okay.
You don't just get to come back on.
No, that's true. You have to earn your way back on. And then we heard from Stan Weber, and Stan Weber talking about the strength of Arizona State, and you have some numbers on that.
Yeah, I've never heard of this guy. I don't do my research very often, but just looking at the numbers, you got Avery Johnson, 1,900 yards passing, 61%, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, almost identical. Sam Levitt from Arizona State, 1,600 yards, 61%, 14-4. And then you got DJ Giddens. He'll enter this game just 5 yards shy of 1,000, and Scatabo has 6 more yards than that. So I don't know who's tougher to tackle. I didn't get an average because I didn't know it was going to be that, but very identical offenses. So be in identical records. Given K-State's performance of late, it's going to be tough to pick the Wildcats, but we're going to do it.
And Stan Weber says that the Arizona is tougher than what a lot of big Pac-12 teams have been in the recent years. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. You have anything else there, Mike Corson?
Yeah, the big one, we've talked about all the other teams, but the one that's kind of escaped us is Andale versus Cheney tonight. Of course, 2 of the best games in the state last year. I don't think it'll be that close this year. Andale, other than their Week 2 game, it was a track meet with Wellington, have outscored opponents 537-40. So their season low this season was 47-6 over Collegiate. And go figure, Cheney has split against Collegiate. It was a 31-7 loss and a 14-6 win last week. So
537-40?
And that should be, about 9 games. So it's over 50 points a game. And so, yeah, you had it was 22-0 last year. Andale, before Cheney made that big run and then made it kind of an all-time classic game and then beat him again late in the playoffs. But I just don't. I think Andale, that was their big win streak that first game, and I think they said never again, and they have just pounded people this year.
What is the average score? 537, and you take away a couple games there, so you're talking 8 games?
I think it would be 9. I just took away 1.
Oh, okay. 540 divided by 9 is what, 50 points a game or 60?
About 55-ish.
That's
yeah.
crazy. And they're only getting up 40 in this, so they're giving up 5 points a game.
Yeah, and they beat Clay Center last week in the playoffs 74-0.
Well, that's easy to come up with those numbers if that's the case, right? You would think so. Get those high averages if you beat a team as
Well, yeah, but a season low 47. So I think that's their only time under 50 points.
That is crazy. Okay, here's some of the other action in the area tonight. As unfortunately the Hayes people know very well, Hutchinson will be hosting Hayes. Hutchinson is 8-2. They're number 4 seed on the West in Class 5A. Hayes is 6-4. They were the 9th seed, upsetting Great Bend last week. We talked about Hoisington and Southeast of Saline. That game will be at Kansas Wesleyan Stadium in Salina, just so people know that one. Let's see. And then 1A West, Plainville is at number 1 Conway Springs. That's a 6 o'clock start. And Medicine Lodge travels to Valley Heights. You kind of follow Medicine Lodge a little bit. Nope. Okay, we'll move on then. We talked about Central Plains at Little River. In 8-man Division 2 on the west side, Hutchinson Central Christian at 9-1. They'll go to Victoria for a 6 o'clock start in Victoria tonight.
See if that one ends quick.
And then the motorcycle riders will have no problem tonight, correct?
I think it'd be a little bit warmer. Yeah, we're unseasonably warm this evening and dry.
Did they show up last week in their motorcycle?
I bet they did.
I bet they did too. And then on, let's see, also Division 2 West in 8-man, Dighton at 10-0 is taking on Hodgman County. Hodgman County coming in at 7-2. 6-man game this evening. This is on the east side. Cunningham will be at Otis Bison to take on the Cougars. Cunningham is perfect at 9-0. Otis Bison is 7-3. But haven't we decided Cunningham hasn't played for like 3 weeks?
Yeah, they've got those 1-0 wins. So, however, they scored a point.
That wouldn't help your averages very much, would it? Okay, coming up tonight. When do they fight this? Mike Tyson is set for his first sanctioned fight since 2005 as the 58-year-old former heavyweight champion takes on the much younger YouTube-turned boxer Jake Paul in Texas. The 8-round fight tonight at the home of the NFL's Dallas Cowboys will be streamed on Netflix, so anybody with Netflix can watch that. Texas regulators sanctioned the bout with limited rounds and just 2 minutes per round. Tyson and the 27-year-old Paul will use heavier gloves, which will, in theory, limit the power of the punches.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a money grab for both of them. Tyson obviously has a naughty history, but he's kind of became likable in recent years. Jake Paul, on the other hand, everybody hates. He runs his mouth. But I tell you, he's fought some legitimate dudes and won. And so the age disparity here, but I'm cheering more for Netflix as a pay-per-view buyer at times in groups. If we can get stuff streamed onto a service provider we already have, it'll save us money. So kind of hoping it's a success on the Netflix side.
And you're betting on? You said Tyson.
It'd be crazy. What is he, 58, did you say?
He's 58, yes.
Against 27, and the kid's pretty fit. And you're taking away... Tyson would have been a puncher back in the day.
And you're taking away the heavy gloves?
Yeah, with the heavy gloves and his age.
Well, and I think you said a lot of people are leaning toward Tyson. He's kind of his image has mellowed over the years.
Yeah, he's actually pretty funny, and he does his whole pigeon thing.
And if you did not hear this, Chiefs fans, I'm going to have some bad news for you. Corson kind of talked a little bit about that. But Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker will miss 3 to 4 weeks after hurting his left knee as a result of an injury. The Chiefs will be signing Spencer Schrader, a player from the New York Jets practice squad, to fill in while Butker is out. Butker was a surprise addition to KC's injury report on Thursday, logging a limited practice with his knee element. He was a full participant in the Chiefs workout on Wednesday. He is expected to have surgery to trim the meniscus in his left knee. He is anticipated to return for the end of the regular season and playoffs. And as you mentioned, that does not help the Chiefs.
No, but I was hearing, it was Nick Wright, former Kansas City guy. I think if Kansas City were to win this, they'd have like a 4-game lead on everything. So they're basically in cruise control mode. They're almost basically, into the playoffs already. So it's, get it taken care of now because, as we say, especially in the way Chiefs play close games, need a reliable kicker.
Yeah, you get this number one. They beat Buffalo. They got a good shot at the number one seed, which is what they need.
Very good shot, yeah.
They need the rest. All right. Thank you, Mike Corson. You'll be back with us later to talk to Ruby Spray, correct?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Sports Day is brought to you by Equity Bank, adding value for your customers and communities. Equity Bank in Great Bend, Hoisington, and Larned. See the locations tab at equitybank.com for more locations. And by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange signs south of 10th and Harrison in Great Bend. Jeremy Combs is in the house. We'll visit with the Barton coach after this on 1590, 95.5 FM and Sports Day.
Take your passion for creating magic behind the curtain to new levels with Barton Community College's Technical Theater program. This new program is designed for students to learn how to create breathtaking light shows, run a state-of-the-art soundboard, and build captivating sets. Unleash your creativity and earn an associate's degree to build the skills you need for a career in theater. Now enrolling for the fall semester. Learn more at techtheater.bartoncccc.edu.
Hurry! Hadley, close the door!
Okay, Papa, I've got it.
Oh, no! The safety eyes worked.
Papa, isn't that a good thing?
Yes, Hadley. It's a good thing normally, but...
Hey, you two. Where's my turkey?
Papa did it.
Well, at least I still have you two turkeys.
Happy Thanksgiving from C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
Today's instant finalist day is going to be at Miller's of Claflin in downtown Claflin. Don't miss out on their big sale going on because the big one is back at Miller's of Claflin. This year, it's better than before. You can save now with Black Friday pricings. That's 50% off store-wide and up to 75% off closeout items. Now, let them do the heavy lifting for you because it's free in-home delivery to any county in Kansas. Plus, make sure you take advantage of the no money down, no interest finance options for up to 60 months. It's the big one at Miller's of Claflin, Kansas's largest selection of home furnishing from Kansas City to Denver. While you're there, make sure you guys get signed up for the $20K Christmas cash giveaway. You have until 5 o'clock to register at Miller's of Claflin in downtown Claflin. It's all presented by Mayo Money Management, Bauer Computers, and Mater Plumbing, Heating and Air, your Bryant dealer, whatever it takes.
It's time to talk Barton Cougar basketball with the head coach, Jeremy Combs, on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
And welcome back into Sports Day on a Friday. That means it's time for Jeremy Combs. Welcome in, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you. We always like talking to you. We think you're one of the most well-dressed men ever.
Oh, goodness gracious.
We like the fact that you, well, it was also talked about several times, the difference between you in person and then coaching.
It's a little different.
It's a little different, yeah. So, Martin, you're coming off a big win over North Platte on Tuesday night. Big second half. It was a 6-point game at halftime, and you outscored them by 13 in the second half for the 93-74 win. What was the difference in the second half?
We had to make some adjustments, and they were hitting some good shots, and they weren't, uncontested shots. They were contested shots, and they were hitting them, and so we did a few different things defensively in the second half just to try to combat that a little bit, and offensively made some adjustments as well. And I thought the guys did a great job of changing some things up and buying into that. That's kind of the first time we've had to make some adjustments.
And they handled it well.
They did. They did a great job and executed and did exactly what we talked about. And that's, it's good for that to happen so that they see the success when you're trying to, make those adjustments.
And then Keandre Kendall led the way with 21 points. And you told us before, was he the one that just signed with Wichita State?
Yeah, he just signed with Wichita State. So it's good to have him, back here in Kansas next year so we can go, watch him play and things like that. I've enjoyed watching the guys on ESPN a lot, from last year's team, but to have him right here in Kansas will be nice to get down there and watch him a little bit.
And 21 points, he led the way for you. How obviously he played well.
Yeah, he's a great point guard. He can score it. We actually thought about playing him more at the 2 just because he does score it so well. But he's doing a great job of obviously scoring, but then also distributing the ball to the other guys.
I was also impressed with Brent Moss. He only had 6 points, but he grabbed 13 rebounds. He had a tough shooting night, just 3 out of 14. but he didn't let that affect the rebounding.
Yeah, I think that's maturity for him. He saw last year's team and what they did, and any given night it could have been somebody totally different. The other night wasn't his night scoring wise, but he contributed defensively, and then also rebounding a basketball, and so that's what makes teams really good.
And Fontaine Williams, a newcomer, 7 out of 13 shooting for 18 points. Tell us a little bit about Fontaine Williams.
Yeah, Fontaine's a kid that, he was here last year with us, but with some of the depth that we had, he kind of looked at it like, well, maybe I'll, redshirt and just see how things work out. So he did, and he's a guy that could have got minutes for us last year. And so, he was here, battling with those guys, practicing with them every day. And so he's kind of a returner, in a sense, even though he didn't play in games. He was there for practice and all that kind of stuff. And so, he's a great addition to have, especially when we lost so many guys.
And then I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of Pavel.
Mm-hmm. Pavel.
5 out of 5 from the field and 3 out of 3 from the stripe for 13 points. Perfect shooting.
Yeah, no, he's been great. I mean, he's a kid that we figured by Christmas he might, come around and start playing good basketball, just adjusting wise. But he's really stepped up and played really well, in the 3 games that we've played.
So you got a tournament coming up this weekend, a broad picture of the tournament this weekend?
Yeah, so it's a good one. We've got 2 Division I schools, and Enid is tough. It's funny. Enid is a lot like North Platte, the way they play, the things they do defensively. So that'll kind of help that we've already, went against that. But they're a very talented team, very scrappy. Their point guard is actually a D1 transfer, 3-star point guard. So he's good too. So that'll be a good matchup between him and Dre. And then we also have Truman University or College, and they're out of Chicago, so they're in that same region with Triton, who we played in the national championship game. And so it'll be a good matchup too. We don't know much about them; they haven't played very many games, but we'll get to see them against Hutch here, this afternoon.
And you said they came from Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago area.
How'd you get them to come out here?
We've had some luck getting some of those guys up here. They're really looking for games. They're looking for Division I games. There's a lot of Division II teams up that way. And, with the strength of schedule stuff going around with the NJCAA, those guys are having to travel a little bit.
That's quite a travel. Though you had a team a couple of years ago, I believe, came out there.
Yeah,
they showed up like 4 hours before game time, if I recall right.
And it was the same conference, same league. Yep.
And tonight, Northern Oklahoma out of Enid, they're coming in with a record of 4-1, and as you mentioned earlier on sports earlier, they defeated Independence on Tuesday night, 91-88, and I believe they're at 91-89. I believe that was in overtime as well, was it not?
Yeah, it was overtime, and they went down there and took on that tough. Indy's a totally different team than they were last year. That was his first year, and he was trying to get his team in there, and now he's got some super talented kids too, and they're really good. And they went into their house and knocked them off. So this Enid team is for real, and we're going to have to play, good basketball if we're going to get a win.
Their only loss was to Odessa earlier in the year.
Yeah, and Odessa's nationally ranked and a good team as well.
So what's it going to take for you to – you talked about doing what championship teams do.
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit.
Well, just sharing the basketball, doing the little things. We stress a lot, and it's up in our locker room to do your job, and play your role. Roles don't define who you are. They just define what your team needs you to do. And so we really need our guys just to kind of step up and do the things that they're supposed to be doing, whether it's knocking down shots, getting to the bucket, if it's a defender or a guy that needs to rebound, just those things. And so we're still trying to figure those things out again because we're young and it's early in the season, but, we're making great strides going forward.
Yeah, and you had 18 assists on Tuesday night. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's, we look at those things and we look at the turnovers and the rebounding and things like that. And people think we look at points, and that's not really what coaches look at. We don't look at, how many attempts guys have made and how many they've made, what percentage they're shooting, things like that. I mean, it's really, if you can look at the rebounding, the offensive boards, the turnovers, things like that, those are things that are going to win you ball games.
I was manager for Fort Hays State team a long time ago, and I still remember watching my first videotape with the head coach, and I'm thinking, are we watching the same game? Because I was watching the ball like most people do. Yep. He's watching the other 10 players. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's what coaches see, and it's the things that you work on in practice, and those are the things that you want to see done in games. So, if we talk a lot about help the helper, because obviously guys know how to help and get over and help a guy that if their man's driving, but who's helping that helper? you know, and so we talk a lot about that, and you know, so those are things, those little things like that's what coaches want to see, and those are the things that we're going to do tonight to win the ball game.
You've only played 3 games thus far, but has anybody really surprised you thus far?
You know, Aris Rodriguez for us has been really, really good. He's really stepped up. You know, obviously Dre Kendall and Brent Moss, we knew what we were going to get with them. Modibo Sonogo, having him back has been just great. I mean, he's really doing well on the boards. You know, and then Sebastian is also doing great at the 4 spot. He's kind of taken that role of maybe not getting as many shots maybe as he wants as a freshman, but you know, he's still getting good minutes. He's getting good boards, and he's scoring when he has the opportunity.
And the Classic starts this afternoon, and you'll go out and watch Truman and Hutch, correct?
Yes. So the girls are going right now. So Hutch girls are playing. They're playing, I think, Kansas Westland JV, right. And then Hutch will play Truman, so we'll watch that game. And then our girls play Redlands. So we'll be there, obviously, for that game, and then we play right after that.
What does Hutch have coming back? Any idea?
They're
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, they're a new ball team, you know, and it's interesting because they're going to get 3 games, or I guess 2 games in a row on our court before they come back and play us on Wednesday. So they'll get a little warm up on the court. But no, they're super talented. They remind me a lot of Butler. Butler last year, that's the coach took over at Hutch.
Oh, okay.
And so I mean the team is pretty identical. They're super talented. You know, got lots of pieces, got guys that can shoot it, you know, guys that are athletic, getting gaps defensively, things like that. So they're talented. So it'll be a good game.
Talking to the head coach of the Barton Community College Cougars, that is Jeremy Combs, the men's basketball team. And I've heard you say several times you like going to Hutchinson and playing down there to get a feel of the arena, because hopefully you're going back to the national tournament. I'm guessing the Hutch people like the same thing coming here.
Yeah, no, it's been good. You know, having them come over to our Classic, us going to theirs. Like I said, we get a little feel for the arena, and again, they get a little feel for here. But you know, I don't know how much longer that's gonna last as far as you know, us sharing Classics together, because it's really hard to schedule. You know, it's nobody wants to come in and play 2 you know, nationally ranked teams in a weekend and take 2 L's, and that's pretty much what's gone on the last 3 years. And so we may break away from that. We may try to keep it going, but it's, you know, like I said, it's just really hard to schedule those things.
And that you're having trouble getting Division I teams to come in as well, or even schedule them, correct?
Yeah, no, that was the thing this year. You know, it took us a little bit to get a Division I team for the other game that we had to pick up, and we wanted to do something early, maybe open at home, and just couldn't get anybody. We finally got Mineral Area in January 4th or something like that. But we did get another Division I game, and I'd love to play all Division I games, and we will, with the exception of playing Labette down at the other Classic, which we really don't get to control that.
Now, have you looked forward to the first conference game that's coming up shortly?
We're going one game at a time.
One game
at a time. I told my wife last night, I said, I just got to get through tonight. Just let me get through tonight, and we'll figure it out.
That sounds like me. I just got to get through sports day, and then I'll be okay. And how's Carter doing?
He's doing good. He's, you know, his dad's pretty hard on him and things like that. And somebody told me that at the last game, North Platte, they'd hit a bunch of threes, and so my wife went over and got the stat sheet to see how many they shot, and I told them, I said, she's actually looking at his minutes. She's going to see if she's going to razz me a little bit, but she hasn't said anything. She's actually a little harder on me than with him than the other boys, so it's good. But he's been great. You know, he's a really coachable kid. I've always said that my other 2 kids, they didn't listen to me very much. And I think they were typical.
And he's the youngest one.
Yeah, and he's the youngest.
That's what he learned.
But, you know, it's amazing. He has grown up, you know, doing this. He's seen this.
That's all he knows.
He's been waiting for a long time to do this. And I told him, he ran out. I saw him run out onto the floor, and he's, I mean, just grinning ear to ear. I said, dude, you can't be smiling like that. You know, we're going to play a basketball game. So he's excited.
And how have you had to adjust coaching him?
It's interesting, you know, but again, I think unlike my other 2 boys, when I tell him something, you know, he's soaking it up. He wants to be a coach, and so, you know, he's very coachable, and he's, you know, although in the locker room I've heard, "Hey, Dad," a couple of times.
Say no, you can't say that.
But he's, you know, he's a sponge, and he's taking it all in, and a lot of times it's yes, sir, you know, and things like that. So he's a good kid.
Well, what about the hair? Has he changed his hair any? Did he have like floppy hair last year?
No, he always has floppy hair.
Okay, all right.
You should see photos of him when he was a kid, man. He had the longest hair. He looked like a girl sometimes. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, Jeremy, we thank you for coming in, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks. We'll talk to you later.
All right, that is Jeremy Combs, head coach of the Barton Community College Cougars. They are in action tonight. 7:35 or so will be the tip-off as they take on Northeast Oklahoma out at Enid. We'll be right back with more Sports Day, but Sports Day is brought to you by Freedom Claims Management, innovative healthcare plans for your business. Let them take care of everything for you from start to finish and continued support. They have you covered. And by the Great Bend Rec, dedicated to improving our community and the lives of its individuals. We'll be right back as Steve Webster talks with Connor Nickel next here on Sports Day.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
What's going on in high school sports? Well, let's ask him. Sports Day is proud to welcome in Sunflower Sports Solutions, Connor Nickel.
Yeah, favorite time of the week. Connor Nickel joins us, Sunflower Sports Solutions, as we head into sectional round of the playoffs tonight. And one thing you think, okay, where are we at in the playoffs? And then you kind of brought this up last week, Connor, because okay, there's 8 teams left in each classification. I guess you compare it to high school basketball. This is the state tournament that begins tonight.
Exactly right. You know, this is the state quarterfinals, the regional sectionals. I don't know those terms. After 18 years, I still don't know what they all mean. But if we go round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, that makes sense to everybody. Obviously, a few teams in the Golden Belt area still very, very much alive. We've got one WAC team left. A lot of interesting games throughout the state. There's also some interesting games that the way the bracket has fallen this year that has also caused some unique quarterfinal contests that you don't always see.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about that. So then we'll get into our local ones, unless they're included in this. But talk about some of these unique matchups you're talking about, Connor.
Yes, the big one is WC, Wichita County, against Hoxie.
Yes.
This is the one versus 2. People believe the winner of this is not necessarily the great, amazing state favorite, but definitely has the arrow pointing towards the state title. You know, you don't see 1 versus 2 in the quarterfinal. I've talked to a lot of people about this game this week. Obviously, I did see Hoxie play, seen WC play a lot. there's a couple things here. One, these two coaches, by and large, do not like each other.
Really?
And that is a well-known fact. I've seen it in person. Other coaches say this. You've got two coaches who have been at their schools for a while, who have built their programs into a very successful program. Both of them have won a state title. WC has had Hoxie's number. I've been asked to pick this game. Other people have been asked to pick this game, and you see there is not a consensus. Truly, there is not a consensus on who will win tonight. I have Hoxie by a score. I just think they've got enough talent across the lines. They've got enough talent in certain positions. WC obviously has the amazing coach. The offensive juggernaut, Cashton Young, has been the next great back that Coach Douglas has had. Coach Douglas again has had Hoxie's number. Hoxie is facing a lot of pressure this year because this is an extremely senior-heavy group. I believe they start seniors at every position but one, and that is an offensive lineman. But all the quarterbacks, running backs, your best players on defense are all seniors. WC is playing with house money to a certain extent because they are somewhat younger. Obviously, they've made, 3 consecutive state finals now, gone, second, first, and second. And so they're looking for their fourth straight trip.
Who wins it?
I've got Hoxie 42-36. But another coach who I know well, who has seen both of these teams play, thinks WC wins by 20. So other people, the major undercurrent is Hoxie's probably a little better, but WC has won these games and has had Hoxie's number.
Okay, any other matchups out of our area you're looking at tonight?
Yes, the major one, just want to hit on this a little bit. I don't like mentioning Kansas City area schools because we don't cover Kansas City area teams in the Golden Belts. But Mill Valley Aquinas. Mill Valley has had five consecutive 5A titles. And if you look at Mill Valley's run, one, they've never had the undefeated season. Of course, Mill Valley coach Joe Appleby is from Russell. And they've always won one crazy close playoff game. Last year was that semifinal game when it came down to the 1-yard line in the final play. Aquinas has put together another great season with Coach Dreiling. That and the Hoxie WC game are the big statewide spotlight games tonight. I honestly think Aquinas wins because Mill Valley has trouble with certain types of teams and the ground and pound teams, the physical teams. Aquinas does that better than anybody else in Kansas. I actually think Aquinas wins here tonight.
What about Wichita Northwest and Manhattan in the 6A West bracket?
Yeah, and, I like Northwest a lot. Gaudy stats every single year, amazing stuff. They're kind of like Sedgwick in some ways. I think that Manhattan wins. Manhattan's defense is so good. They're so sound across the board. They've got a great quarterback. For a number of years, though, Manhattan they would always hit a ceiling in the playoffs because they just did not have the quarterback play necessary to win a state quarterfinal game. For the last 3 or 4 years, Coach Schartz, between his son and now the defensive coordinator's son, then they had the Ashenbrenner kid too. They have found ways to win these games because they're better at quarterback. Defensively, they are always really, really good. And Northwest, of course, has trouble playing defense in games like this often.
All right, let's get to our local games. Hoisington at Southeast of Saline. Just like last year, Southeast of Saline would be a heavy favorite. Does Hoisington have anything for the Trojans tonight?
Again, I've had Southeast of Saline number 1 all year in 2A. Unfortunately, I just think this is where the road ends for Hoisington. Now, if they were in the other one, Garden Plain or Beloit, if they were facing not Southeast, and truly, most teams on the East, I think they could maybe beat too. I think that they're on par with Council Grove or Humboldt. I think Nemaha Central and Osage might be a little bit of another level. But Southeast again, they are my state favorite. This is the team that Southeast has been looking forward to a long time, of saying this is our state title team.
So you think? So you think Mitch?
I think the Southeast wins.
So Gephardt's going to get that elusive state crown, do you think?
I think he's going to get there.
Okay.
I think he's going to get there, which he has never gotten there. He's never gotten there. They had that team a couple years ago in 3A that was clearly the second best team in 3A. Gave Andale a very good game, and then Andale won the state title by 50. And so I think the Southeast gets there. I do think that Nemaha Central comes out of the East, and we all know what quarterback they have, and that's just really hard to guard for 45 carries a game. But this is nothing against Hoisington. And it's another quarterfinal year. It's another great season. I just think that Southeast is just too much.
Okay, and it's kind of weird to be talking about 8-man division, 1 West, but this has been or East, I should say. But this has been an entertaining. A lot of times there's not a lot of balance maybe in 8-man football, but the east side of this has been amazing. Central Plains at Little River tonight, in Little River, where Central Plains beat them before. There's been some odd scores. Madison is in there. But go around number 2. Little River is thankful to still be playing after a miracle against Lincoln. What about round number 2 between the Oilers and Redskins tonight?
Well, yeah, and you're exactly right. 8-man one, and you see this a couple, every so often in 8-man one. And I've made this comparison to some other people, and they definitely agree with this. It reminds me, honestly, of the year that Hoxie won their state title. You had all these wonky results, wonky upsets. The thing that I go back to in this game, again, LR has great skill players. Central Plains has great skill players. I had somebody say this week, my goodness, I cannot believe Central Plains is still playing.
Yeah.
But they have found ways. The amount of close games this year they've had is really impressive. The thing is, though, no one prepares better than Kevin Ayers. And no one makes the small adjustments and the small changes when you rematch a team like Kevin Ayers. I mean, he is truly the Nick Saban. And it's really hard to beat a Kevin Ayers team twice in one season. I've got LR in another great game. I have them 42-40. But in games like this, LR over the last 5 or 6 years wins these games because of who their coach is.
Okay, we're going to jump to 6-man right now because you look at Cunningham. They've won their last 3 games by a combined total of 3 points. 1-0, 1-0, and 1-0. How about that going into a quarterfinal and you haven't played like in 3 weeks? Otis Bison has a Titanic.
And honestly, Steve, I'm really happy you brought this up because this is actually a terrible thing.
Yeah.
I actually spoke with somebody at the state level this week about this exact topic, kind of off the record. The forfeits in 6-man this year are. It's bad. It's been a bad thing. I'll say this from our perspective. I'm involved with both girls basketball programs at Victoria. We were supposed to have our first game against Chase last night, and Chase called at noon and canceled and forfeited. And our girls were, including my own daughter, were very down about this. I know a lot of people in Cunningham well. Their principal I know very, very well. Coach McGuire I know well. And they've not played a football game in basically 7 weeks.
Really?
And I know they are number 1, and I know that, they've not played a game since Otis Bison on October the 4th. And here we are November the 15th, and they're playing Otis Bison again in the state quarterfinals. And I get it. Cunningham is so far above everybody else this year, but heck, so is Axtell.
Yeah.
And people are still lining up to play Axtell because it's one of those things. Hey, you can tell your friends, I played against Brandon and Schmelzy. I played against probably the best 6-man team in Kansas high school history. You're still playing. And this has been a major point of issue at the Keisha level, at the six-man level this year, the amount of forfeits, particularly in the playoffs with six-man schools, it's not a good look at all.
Does this affect the future of six-man as far as being a sanctioned event?
Well, there is going to be, and this is more just very early conjecture at this point, but there is going to be, and there has been a little bit behind the scenes, but there has been I would say, a push for some of these small schools. We'll just say Chase. Chase is part of the school district, of course, to co-op or make certain that there is a team. Basically, it's something that I have heard brought up is, hey, make certain that if you are wanting to play football or any sport, that you have a team. I mean, you have signed up to play your season, so play it.
Yeah.
Essentially. And if you're not signed up to play your season, then don't, or co-op, or do something rather than forfeiting. I mean, Wells like at Chase, because again they're in the area and they're doing this in basketball too. They only played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They played 6 games this year, and yeah, they only won. Well, and they only won one because that was a forfeit win. Again, I understand some of these teams are going through really bad struggles, but at the same point, it's play your season or co-op. Do something so the boys or the girls who want to play can play.
Okay, let's go to 8-man 2 West. Dighton beat Hodgman earlier this year 54-8. It was 38-0 with 6 minutes to go in the first half. Hodgman had just given the ball away, a couple interceptions, and then they couldn't stop Dighton on big fourth down plays where Dighton would just throw it, get a touchdown. After it was 38-0, it was 14-8 the rest of the way. I'm not saying Dighton's not the favorite here, but I think Hodgman might have a little bit more for Dighton than that first score might indicate.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be closer than what the first score was. Matt Hausman has traditionally, if they have rematched a team, have played them closer. I think that was a combination of things really going Dighton's way and maybe not going Hodgman's way. I mean, things that generally don't happen in a second meeting. I still have Dighton winning. I don't think it's going to be this massive blowout at all, but I do think Dighton wins, and that sets up Victoria and Dighton next week.
So Central Christian's been interesting. Look at their scores. I don't know, 9-1. Does this go past halftime?
It might. It might. I'm not overly promising on that. And yes, the Victoria has dealt with a very key injury. But the thing with Victoria all year, line play and depth. Weston Shear is their sophomore fullback, 6'2", 220. The last week against Sharon Springs, they held Sharon Springs to negative yards of total offense. Weston Shear is really, really hard to tackle. And then you got a lot of other weapons too. I've got it ending at half. It might go past halftime, but Central Christian, they put together a number of nice seasons, but physicality is not what they are known for. They're going to try and likely throw the ball a lot. But I think that Victoria wins rather handily, and then sets up the matchup that honestly everybody wants to see.
Yep. Okay. I wanted to talk about 3A West real quick. A very interesting game out at Scott City tonight. Holcomb, Scott City. Scott City won the first meeting, close game. Now they go at it round number 2. What about this game in Scott tonight?
Well, and that's one of the undercurrents from last week that some people forgot or missed on this, is that Scott City beat Heston last night, of course, in horrible weather conditions, 9-7 on a field goal from Jackson Rumford, their 6'6" guy who's committed to K-State. I mean, if he misses that kick and the wind and the rain and the dirt and all that and the mud, Scott City's not playing right now. I think this is going to be another slugfest. I mean, you look at Scott City and Holcomb over the years. I mean, it is 14-12, 16-10. It is just slugfest games, and it's gone both ways. Generally, if I were to say who wins this game, it is generally comes down to when Holcomb wins, they're much better at quarterback and receiver. That's not the case this year. And so I do think it's a low-scoring game, but I think that Scott City wins. You know, the other interesting fact about this, Scott City, since the start of last year, Steve-O, is 17-3 with one loss to a Kansas team, Andale. Yeah. So Scott City, again, against Kansas opponents, if you're not Andale, Scott City has won those games.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like everybody's leading up to the – so you're calling Cheney's going to upset Andale tonight then, right?
Oof.
I'm not.
No, I'm not. I think, and these are, two great teams. I love the, run it back again. This is going to be another fantastic contest, but Andale got down, or Cheney got down 21-0 or so, 20-0 in those games last year, comes back and wins. Tonight, I just think Andale puts the clamps down all four quarters. Should be another fantastic contest. I think your 3A state championship is just like 8-man-on-1 is probably tonight.
Okay, one more I wanted to ask you about before I let you go today. 1A West is very, very interesting. Conway Springs has been number one. I'm going to go with the dark. Medicine Lodge, you talk about a team that's road tested, and and they started off, of course, with all the high expectations, then went through a lull. Medicine Lodge might be your dark horse on 1A West side.
I completely agree. I mean, what a year that Medicine Lodge has had. I mean, from what the preseason goals were to that slip up they kind of went through. Now they've kind of found their footing with close wins, and I think they're playing much better defense too. They've got the great quarterback, but of course they've got some really big linemen as well. And they've managed to win games in low-scoring margins. Last year they couldn't really necessarily do that as much. Last year they had all this success in winning close games, and this year it's starting to kind of pay off after losing, taking a couple losses earlier on. I've got Lodge winning. I have really liked Plainville a lot. Roy Bright Jr. And what an incredible career he has had. Started out at Natoma, was the quarterback as a freshman when they won the six-man state title. Natoma cancels their program. He goes 15 miles to Plainville, has had a heck of a career, is their leader, captain, great dude. Plainville beats Sedgwick 12-6 in the sludge last week. I do think Conway wins. Plainville's going to give them all they have to offer. But I'm going to see like a 22-6 type of game. And then I think it's Conway and NL, again, that rematch that everyone has been wanting to see.
Okay, I forgot. Yeah, I guess I'm being a sorehead here, right? Oh, Hayes High plays tonight.
Hayes High does.
Hutchinson.
And, we talked about last week that if Hayes High was going to win, there was only really one way to do it, and that was to run the ball. And Holden Lynn offered, honestly, one of the best performances that a Hayes High running back has truly ever had, considering conditions and weather and so on. I'll be honest here. I think Hayes High wins tonight. I really do. I think that Hayes High, the offensive line has gelled. I mean, Gus Corsair is really good. Holden Lynn, Coach Tony Crow told me in the summer, Holden Lynn's the breakout guy. He's the guy to watch. And honestly, I have Hayes High winning in a very close, low-scoring game.
I'm going to agree with you on that. That offensive line, once, especially the weather conditions last week, they just launched, and plus you got a running back that can run it that amount of times. So, yeah, Tony Crow and the Indians, I think I'm with you. They advance. Connor, thanks so much for the time, and we'll be talking about Sub-State next week, okay?
Awesome, sir. I appreciate all things.
Okay, all right. Connor Nickel joining us here on Sports Day today. It's all brought to you in part by American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, featuring number 2 clear diesel, bulk fuel, E10, fuel delivery, and all your lubricants and fuel supplies. Eller Automotive Repair, your hometown automotive repair store. They specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks, and Equity Bank. Here when you need us. Bank local, save big, in-person banking and business banking. Visit equitybank.com for more info. Sports Day, Friday edition. Rolling
Central
on
Western
right
Kansas
after
residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Hurry! Hadley, close the door!
Okay, Papa, I've got it.
Oh, no! The safety eyes worked.
Papa, isn't that a good thing?
Yes, Hadley. It's a good thing normally, but...
Hey, you two. Where's my turkey?
Papa did it.
Well, at least I still have you 2 turkeys.
Happy Thanksgiving from C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no-obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
Discover affordable education with Barton Online. Whether you're looking to pick up a class or earn your associate degree, we've got you covered for less than half the cost of a university. We are always enrolling with 5 sessions available this fall, including 16, 8, and 4-week sessions. Get started when it fits your schedule. Tackle your gen eds or the first 2 years of college with a low-cost pathway and save time and money with Barton Online. Visit online.bartonccc.edu and enroll today.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Extend the life of your equipment with the best warranty program and risk management tool in the agriculture industry. The Cenex Total Protection Plan covers new and used equipment. Receive up to 10 years or 10,000 hours of engine coverage when you use Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster premium diesel fuel and synthetic lubricants. With no deductible, the Cenex Total Protection Plan provides unmatched coverage to give you the power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor, today.
Our apologies to Ruby Spray. It was my fault. I can't time. That's Sports Day for the week. We'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Agriculture Today on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.